Hey, what's going on, guys? So, I want to talk about something different today. I want to talk about the genre of games, beat 'em ups. And not just beat 'em ups, I want to talk about modern beat 'em ups. There's kind of been a little bit of a renaissance when it comes to beat 'em ups nowadays. You have the spectacular River City Girls, Streets of Rage 4, just to name a few. But I want to talk about two modern beat 'em up games that I think went under the radar. One of them, I think both of them actually, are absolutely free. So, without any further ado, let's talk about some beat 'em ups, some modern beat 'em ups that I think you may have missed. So, the first one I want to talk about is actually Final Fantasy 15: A King's Tale. Now, this game actually came right out when Final Fantasy 15 was happening. I'm wanting to say it came out for free with a collector's edition. I don't quite remember. It's been quite, 2016 was a little while ago, but I will say, oh my god, this game has like the spirit of like the beat 'em up genre just encapsulated in its core. The sprite work is absolutely beautiful. All sprite pixel art. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love the music. Has that classic beat 'em up chiptune feel to it. And the plot itself is actually kind of neat. Basically, you play as Noctis's dad, and he's telling some stories about when he was a kid to a much younger than in the game, Noctis, basically as a bedtime story. It's amazing because you get to see kind of how Noctis's dad and his kind of team, basically of four people, kind of did the same thing that Noctis ends up doing as an adult, like his own adventures. It's really cool. Plot-wise, it's really fun because they can kind of do whatever they want because it is like a bedtime story. So, like at any given time, do I think that him and his gaggle of friends fought like thousands of samurai and stuff? Probably not. But for the embellishment of the story, it's pretty cool. And, it makes for a really great beat 'em up. The cool thing about this game, besides the fact that at the time of release it was free, is it's like really in-depth. Like they went and spent, in my mind, like way too much time making this game like way better than it needed to be. They have enemies with elemental weaknesses where you can use your magic to use on them to exploit that. They have combos that involve you breaking defenses or just regular attacking. Kind of like how Noctis has in the main game, you can teleport around. You have the Armiger, which is something that comes from the main game as well, where you can basically do a huge, massive combo. It's basically like I think like Street Fighter. It's like your special meter. But then the cool thing is too, is you have your like friends, just like Noctis has in the main game, where you have Sid, who ends up kind of helping you in the main game, and then also the other two allies. I'm sorry, I'm missing for their names right now, but it's cool because you can summon them in, kind of like I kind of think of like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, where you can like kind of call in your tag team teammates to jump in real quick and do a move. And they have cooldowns, which is cool, but you can summon them in. You can use them with the Armiger. It's just overall like a very solid beat 'em up. The only kind of downside that comes to mind isn't really a downside. Especially like if you're like really in the mood for playing a beat 'em up, it wouldn't be a downside at all. But I feel like the levels drag on just a little too long. Like in the amount of time that you play a segment of a level, it feels like a full level, and then like most levels are 3 to 4 segments long. So like one or two, or maybe even three would feel, okay, this is a good length for a level. Maybe take a break or something. But these definitely feel very long. Once again, it's not really a bad thing. It's just a bad thing if you're trying to have a short, bite-sized game session. But other than that, oh man, this game is just super duper fun. They really establish early on that different enemies involve different strategies. Some guys counter you, so you have to counter them. Some guys have crazy defenses, so you have to break their defenses open with your shield or do specific combos. Certain enemies, like I said kind of earlier, have to be hit with a certain kind of magic. It really varies the gameplay. It makes it to where you're not just tapping punch over and over and over again like some beat 'em ups. So it's like I said, this game kind of went over the top. I feel like this game, for being a free game, it was just a little side thing for fun with the release of Final Fantasy 15. It's like, wow, you guys went way too hard on this. Like, it's way better than it needed to be. You could have given us just absolute junk and would have been just fine. But on the whole, very, very fun, very, very cool, and extremely, extremely overlooked. And speaking of games that, like, shouldn't have been even made, not to mention, like, so damn good. Like, talk about, like, going above and beyond for no good reason. Space Jam: A New Legacy, the game. That's right, it's a game for a tie-in movie of a sequel to a beloved 90s movie that did not need to exist. I have not personally watched this movie, but I've heard so many things that are very, we'll just say, discouraging for viewing that I just don't feel that I need to watch it. I have very fond memories of the first movie. I don't want those spoiled with, from what I've been told by many people, is a subpar film. But what is not subpar is the tie-in game, which was absolutely free on Xbox, and I have once again, no understanding, no fathom ability of like, why did these guys work so hard to make such a solid game for something that's like just seemingly did not need such a good game. First of all, it's 3-player co-op. I did not get to test this out because, you know, as I've said in the last couple of videos, I'm in the middle of moving, and so playing anything, and especially recording gameplay, is a challenge, and getting friends over in a haphazard house is probably even a little unsafe, to be honest. But that's one thing that's really cool about it. 3-player co-op. I'm getting major, like, Turtles in Time vibes, or maybe Simpsons, you know, those really good Konami beat-em-ups. But, you know, so you start out, you get to play as Bugs Bunny, LeBron James, or Lola Bunny. And I picked Bugs for this, and like, my gosh, this game is just like so damn solid. I don't understand, like, you know, once again, the people who are making this, you know, I don't know what they're doing. They're sitting around, they're like, you know what, we're not gonna half-ass this. We're going to make this game really good, and like they did. I mean, the sprite work, first off, phenomenal. You know, games nowadays, it's much easier to use models or even certain like animated cells even. But this one, all pixelated sprites. They look really good, really charming, really solid. Bugs Bunny, of course, has all of his like kind of signature Bugs Bunny-ness, like goofy boxing gloves and etc. etc. He has, you know, this, you can throw this basketball and do damage with it, which actually gets brought back to you every time you throw it, which is kind of funny. Another thing that's kind of neat in this game is this like card system. Now, you unlock more cards as you go, but the cards kind of act as like your special meter. And I will say that one of them is completely broken. I get the feeling it just kind of ruins the game. That's the one that I inadvertently picked because I was playing by myself, so I figured I might need it. So I picked Granny, you know, like Granny from, you know, Tweety Bird cartoons. Anyway, her power gives you the ability to just drop a ton of health items. And I'm telling you, by the time you use the ability, you basically get all of your health back. And then by the time you need health again, the ability's back up. So I get the feeling maybe that one was a little too broken, but I will say that, you know, playing single player is pretty nice because, you know, it gave me like no fear of having to maybe restart in the middle of a turn. And like right after the first stage, they have this whole thing where you're being kind of chased by this big spike wall and you have to like break through the doors to try to escape. There's a kind of a time limit sort of thing. And it kind of reminded me of a level from the Power Rangers beat 'em up game from Super Nintendo, combined with like Street Fighters like kick the crap out of this car kind of thing, which was cool. Like I said, you know, beat 'em ups are always fun when you mix it up. And this was just an, you know, like right off the bat, like the first thing they throw you in, hey, here's a bunch of you know, regular ass enemies, fight them, get the whole feel of the game, and then boom, right into something kind of new. I thought this was neat. And it kind of like kept me intrigued, like what's going to be next? You know, what's the first boss going to be like? I had no idea, but I definitely wanted to find out, so I definitely wanted to keep playing, and so I did keep playing. And as I kept playing, you go through this kind of neat, weird, you know, mummy style level. Once again, I, you know, don't know if this is part of the movie or not. Haven't seen the movie. But at the end, you fight what I thought was the first boss, but come to find out, it's kind of more just like a mini boss. It's the regular enemies I've been fighting, but a bigger one with 4 arms. Kind of Goro-esque, I guess. But then I actually learned something that I didn't know. The basketball I've been kind of half ignoring because, like, I just beat him up with my boxing gloves. But then you kind of learn, you know, the game shows you, rather, to unlock one of these discs, which is the, you know, objective of the game. You can Hadoken or Kamehameha wave the ball. You charge it and shoot it, which is actually cool because once I learned you could do that, I started incorporating that later in the game, like later levels. And you know what? Very cool ability. If you can find the time to do it without being interrupted, very cool ability. Knocks enemies back, kind of gives you a good start to the little fight. Very neat. I like it when games organically show you stuff. You used to see that a lot in like the older games. Where you like Mega Man X, great example. They don't outright tell you to do whatever. You just kind of have to figure it out. Like, oh, you fell in a pit. Maybe you should start jumping against the wall. Oh, you jump against the wall. And like stuff like that is pretty cool. I mean, granted, like they do say charge ball break, but it's not like hold A and shoot this thing at this thing. You see charge ball break. You're like, what does that mean? I guess I should pick up the ball, press some buttons. Oh, what do you know? Hadouken move. So I don't know. That's just me kind of soapboxing a little bit. But like I said, it's just more stuff to add to this. I'm gonna say it again, free game. But then I did finally, after fighting through a couple more levels, get to the first boss. And I don't know, so this is gonna really just show how little I know of sportsball. But man, so if I have a knowledge of something that's not sports but sports adjacent, it would be memes. And I can only make the connection. So this boss is called The Brow, and it's a guy with like one big ass eyebrow, and he's also a bird. And I instantly thought of that meme. There's that basketball player. I don't know his name. I'm very sorry if people know his name. Write it in the comments. Whatever. There's that dude who totally has like one like egregiously large eyebrow. And there's that old meme that has like the eyebrow like Animorph style turning into an eagle and flying off his head. And I can only imagine that's who this is. Once again, if I had seen the movie, I would hope confirm that. I think through my just knowledge of internet jokes and my like zero knowledge of sports, I'm hoping that I'm correct here. Like I said, in the comments down below, let me know if I'm right, and if so, what's this guy's name? Because now I'm actually really interested, but I'm also too lazy to look it up because I'm recording this like really late at night and have work tomorrow. Why am I saying that? It doesn't matter. This boss was very cool. It's classic beat 'em up style boss. He has a pattern, nail the pattern down, wear down his life bar. It was cool. It was fun. I don't want to show too much more of the game because, like I said, it's free. You should check it out. Don't take my word for it. Play it for yourself. But my gosh, I don't want to spoil anymore. This is very fun, and I can highly, highly recommend it. So, like I said, have you played either of those games? And if you haven't, you should. I'm telling you, both of them have fantastic sprite work, really tight gameplay, and just, generally good games. Just generally very good games that it's a shame that I feel like people are sleeping on them because I feel like it's one of those things where, especially in the case of Space Jam, where it's like, the movies, tie-in game to a modern movie. I don't know why they went so hard on that game, but it is good. But hey, what do you guys think? Have you played either of those two games? Do you like the beat 'em up genre? Are there any crazy beat 'em ups, modern ones, that have slipped under the radar that I don't know about? Let me know in the comments down below. Hey, that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, you should. It would be really cool. But hey, as always, my friends, take it easy.